Yeah, here in California, we're very excited that 2016 is the centennial year for Society of American Foresters in California. SAF started in 1916 in California, just a couple years after the forestry program started at Berkeley, and about 16 years after SAF started nationally. It started in 1900 in Washington, D.C., founded by Gifford Pinchot and others. As part of the centennial celebration, we really wanted to do something to capture our history, to share with new professionals a little bit of what SAF is all about, what professional forestry is all about in the state, and also to share with the general public the rich history of managed forest land in this state. So we have a wonderful steering committee of professionals who put our heads together and thought about, well, what can we do to make this happen? So we came up with the idea of an oral history project. And what our goal is to do an interview with some of our outstanding golden members of SAF, people that have been in the organization for 50 years or more, have seen a lot of changes, have a lot of rich experience and wisdom, and to gather that onto film, to make it accessible through the internet, and to share that with people so that we don't lose that information. It's a tragedy to think that we have practicing professionals that have made such a difference in what makes California so great, but they never get to tell their story. So we're hoping to at least alleviate that a little bit by doing interviews with people who are really the leaders of our profession, and capture that on videotape.
Michigan had a program where the freshmen and later students were invited to summer jobs. So I had a first year after my freshman year out in northern Idaho on what had been the 1910 burn, which was an interesting place to break in. I had a ranger named Charlie Scribner, who was kind of wonderful. And those were the days when a ranger district had a ranger, an assistant district ranger, and a secretary, and that was the whole staff. So they put me on a lookout for about 5 weeks near the end of that summer, and Charlie used to call us to find out if we were still there, because they had a history of lookouts sometimes going goofy. And one of the nights he asked me what I was going to do. In the second semester of my freshman year, I had taken a course in zoology taught by a geneticist, and I must admit he got me very interested in genetics. So he said, I said that I couldn't make up my mind whether I wanted to go forward in forestry or in genetics. And Charlie, in one sentence, focused my life. He said, well, trees have genes, don't they? And that did it. So from there on, I was a forest geneticist.
But one of the things that drove me to California, frankly, was the fact that I had always had a career interest in getting into fire management. And I felt that California offered one of the better opportunities for me to come from the East to get into the Western states with one of the most fire-prone states that we've got in the nation. And so I started as a junior forester in 1962. 7 months later, I got transferred to Greenville, and I was on the Greenville district for 2 years. Now, all the time I was doing timber management work, I was also doing a lot of fire work, and I was working to develop my suppression skills and management capabilities in fire suppression.
I was forever, when they tell me about some recommended silvicultural practices that they might engage in, being a working class Scots boy, I would immediately want to know what the cost of that activity would be. And so gradually I became the department little expert on cost issues in quality economics. So that got me interested in the economics of it. And then so when I went to the University of California, I was all ready to grab any ideas in economics that would be applicable to forestry. So I thoroughly enjoyed that experience.
You know, the thing that's intrigued me about the field of forestry is the diversity of opportunity, because no matter what your interest is, you can find a place for it in the field of forestry. And it's this diversity, because you could be interested in the actual practice on the ground, you could be interested in the science aspects, you could be interested in the economics or the policy aspects, you could be interested in the quantitative aspects. And what I found particularly rewarding, particularly as a faculty member, is interacting with geneticists and physiologists and economists and policy people. It's a very broad field. And so one thing that I would find of interest to make sure young people understand is that forestry isn't just timber management or putting out fires. It's a very exciting, broad field, and it's becoming increasingly exciting as its complexity increases. And so anybody who has interests in the way forest ecosystems work on a biological level or a societal level or a quantitative level, there's a very special place for you in this field, which I found interesting because of its breadth. And its breadth brings complexity, and complexity brings the need for very special skills.